Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Please, before we go any further, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment. Hit the notifications bell also so that you will be notified whenever I release any new content. In today's video, I did an oracle reading on the followers of the Black Manosphere. This reading was done in the wake of the mass shooting that was committed by Frank James, who is an avid Black Manosphere follower. Be sure to check out the video I did on him previously to understand what his true motivations were for committing such a heinous act. Before I go any further, let me help you all to understand something. I am an African American, and many of us have at least one male relative whose life has been ruined by a dusty older male that exploited them when they were boys. Okay? These relatives are either in prison or in the cemetery. Before I go any further, let me make a distinction. In my point of view, there is a distinction between a real man. A real man is responsible, who is, they are a healthy version of masculinity. He uses his strength to build up himself and those around him. He is wise, has an intact family. He builds a legacy and will work nonstop towards securing his family and his community. He will share resources that he's legally acquired. You see, there is a difference between him, a real man, and the dusty old males who ruin their lives and crumble the lives of those around them. A dusty male's trademark is that his children will be scattered from one town to the next. He breaks families. He breaks communities. He breaks lives to the point that they require years of therapy to mend. The Temptations performed a song about an example of this type of male more than 50 years ago, titled "Papa Was a Rolling Stone." And one of the hooks to the song is, wherever he laid his hat was his home. He didn't have anything. Just wherever he laid his hat, that was his home. Okay? And when he died, all he left them was alone. He left them with no legacy, no inheritance. The only thing he left them was just alone. This type of dusty male is the one that I am referring to as I speak further on how they are the downfall of vulnerable boys and young men. Typically, dusty older males exploit boys and young men into illegal and immoral activities, okay, by enticing them with a false sense of power. Part of the older male's MO is to entice boys away from education and away from conforming to social expectations. Education is one of the most potent tools of self-empowerment. By removing education as a factor, this mentally cripples the exploited young males, making it easier to impress them, therefore easier to control them and make them permanently dependent upon the older male for guidance. Boys and young men who do not join them, or if they attempt to leave them later on down the line, they will be mentally and or physically tortured by this group. This method is seen globally as well, with poor and uneducated young men being a perfect source to utilize for their leaders to convert them into terrorists. I'm sorry, I have a hard time with that word. According to The Economist magazine, Boko Haram entices its recruits with cheap marriages. The terrorist group ISIS had enticed young men with honeymoons in Raqqa. This issue is actually much larger than Blackistan, and it is very much so global. So back to this reading regarding the Black Manosphere. I was interested in knowing what the oracles had to say or would have to say about the type of effort it would take for the followers of the Black Manosphere to reform. What will it actually take for the individuals to get to the point of experiencing true peace in their lives? So the question that I asked was, please Comment about in what way must followers of what is known as the Black Manosphere. This term, Black Manosphere, is an umbrella term used to describe followers of SYSBM, which stands for Save Yourself Black Man, of Kevin Samuels, Tommy Sotomayor, Minister Jap, Sergeant Willie Pete, and so on and so forth. How would these people need to approach how would their followers rather need to approach their current lifestyle in a manner that will allow for peace to return into their lives? So the first oracle that was consulted was the Medu Neter oracle. It yielded a response of Geb Tim Chichayas as the first card. The next card was Haru Tim Chichayas. So going back to Geb, Geb is a deity or an energy that represents material wealth and generally the things that people need in order to survive day to day. It also represents the physical health. This is because food can impact the physical health in either a healing or a detrimental way. Geb is in the Tim Chichayas position, which is negative and points to an imbalance. It signifies, when Geb is the first card, it signifies the effect that the other card is having on the health of the individual or the situation. So let's take a look at the second card, which is Haru, and it is also an attempt to Chaya's position. This is unfavorable and also shows an imbalance. Haru is a deity or an energy that represents power and leadership. Haru is noble and often associated with kings or people in a place of authority, like a father in the home. Haru is also a representation of young men. Whenever Haru is in the Tim Tichayas or the Tim Ma'at position, it is negative. And generally this signifies one who is arrogant, who is egotistical, they're very boastful, but when they are boasting, but it's an empty boast. An example of this is the high value man mantras that have been floating around the Black Manosphere, high value man, and so on and so forth. They are weak-willed in the true sense of utilizing their willpower and vitality to achieve true success. It is for these reasons that it will be difficult for the average Black Manosphere follower to find peace within their lives. Okay, so moving along to the I Ching readings. The I Ching readings offered 2 hexagrams. The first hexagram is number 9, which is titled Small Restraint. It has 2 stressed or broken lines at the first and the sixth, which yields the final hexagram, and that hexagram is number 48, and it is titled As the Well. So let's get into it. The first hexagram, number 9, Small Restraint, provides instruction on how to gently accumulate power. Power is gently accumulating by withholding its expression. In other words, it is not through shouting and grunting. This is a type of power that is achieved through gift exchange and providing comfort. An example of gentle restraint is the steps that humans take to tame wild animals. A person who works with wild animals will tame them by becoming their friend. They give the animals their favorite treats. They pet the animals on their heads and scratch their bellies. It is not done through a harsh display of power, not through hunting it down, shouting at it, and inflicting pain on it. This is a picture of a gentleman named Kevin Richardson, who is known as the Lion Whisperer. The Lion Whisperer was able to tame some of the most dangerous creatures on the planet, known to mankind, by utilizing principles that hexagram number 9 speaks about. This hexagram also has 2 broken lines, the first one and the sixth one. The first broken line is advising that one must return to their original path because they are currently on the wrong path. It is basically saying there is nothing wrong with retreating to your original self because you are on the wrong path and because it is wrong to use force to gain what is not right for you. Moving along to the broken line in the sixth position. This is basically stating that there is a danger that comes with being pushy and impatient. One has to allow events to unfold in their own natural timing so that they are sustainable. An example of the danger that comes with impatience is that when luxuries are acquired through illegal or immoral means, they are not sustainable. One has to risk their life, risk their freedom in order to acquire them and also to keep them. However, when luxuries are gathered through legal means, such as earning a high income, as a result of spending the time honing a profession or legally investing in stocks, owning a business, just for an example, okay, then what is acquired is actually sustained. Okay, so hexagram 9 with the first and the sixth lines broken yield the next hexagram, which is hexagram number 48. And that one is titled The Well. The well gives instructions on many aspects of life, and in this instance, it's giving instructions on facing doubts and fears, that one must turn inward, throw the bucket into the well, and pull it inside to see what's there. You may pull up water, it may be mud, it may be water with fish in it. Either way, you have to pitch the bucket into the well and discover what will come out. It is also an instruction not to allow doubt and fears to govern one's decision. Additionally, the well can represent stability, and again, this speaks to leadership. The well remains consistent in its character. Time changes things around the well, but the well does not change. People are born and they take their last breath, but the need for the well in their town never changes. Leadership is more about giving to others than taking from them. Once the well dries and the water is gone, the town will cease to exist. Likewise, if there is not anything in your character for the people to draw upon, then they will not want to be around you. This is a further instruction advising that in order for one to gain respect from others, in order for the current followers of the Black Manosphere to gain the real respect that they are demanding from others, similar to the respect that people in a town have for their well or source of water, they, the followers of the Black Manosphere, have to provide a reason to be respected in the same manner that the well provides water. The well in a town is simply there, and it simply provides a resource. It does not go around berating people and convincing them to adapt to a dehydrated life. It simply provides water, and by doing so, it has a steady stream of respect happily and voluntarily flowing back to it from the people. Okay, so that is the end of the oracle readings. I will now go into my commentary based on the oracle readings. This reading may actually help those who are Black Manosphere followers. And if it does, then that's great. However, given their nature, based on the oracle readings, the overwhelming majority of them will not heed the advice that the oracles has provided. Okay. So I did these readings more or less for those who are close to these Black Manosphere followers, because I understood that it will help you to assess what will be necessary for these individuals to get their lives together. Okay, by understanding the amount of effort it will take, you can look at their current state of obstinance and understand the likelihood of it actually happening in this lifetime. I hope that today's reading will open your eyes to the truth of this situation and also help you to understand why you need to set boundaries. You cannot nurture and sacrifice someone out of this form of obstinance. You have to accept that if this person is willing to turn his back on the very people that fed him, that clothed him, kept a roof over his head, ensured that he could read and write, okay, if he is willing to bite the very hand that has fed him all of this while and use his community the same way that one would use a toilet, then the only way to deal with him is to let him see for himself what these dusty old males truly have in store for him. The only way that you can trust that he is sincere in his return is if and only if he comes back educated, with his own resources, and with humility. And the likelihood of this happening is very rare, which is why you need to set boundaries and make him earn his way back into the community according to what the Oracle has advised. Just a recommendation, okay? So you can relax, retain your resources, and keep your time. Do not feel 1 ounce of guilt that you are not wasting your best efforts on people that are set on using their energy to harm others. Okay, so that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. Also, feel free to cash out me at Angela Hill Production. And take care until next time.